Couple things on our minds today as we look at the news. There's another terror attack in Texas, and I call it a terror attack because I don't know what else to call these mass shootings, whether they're motivated by religious fundamentalism or whether they're just crazy old men who pick up a rifle and go and do their thing. Las Vegas recently hosted the biggest mass shooting in American history. Hard to even believe that because they seem so commonplace now, and there was a time when this didn't really happen. But along with teenagers cutting their wrists or cutting their arms to feel pain and a couple of other phenomena that didn't happen in the old days, modern society sort of breeded, I think, some unfortunate stepchildren, and this is one of them. The mass shooting phenomenon is got to stop. I don't know what the answer is. There's clearly a need for gun control. If you're not on that side of it, you're just a bonehead. I'm not a take away everybody's guns guy. I never have been, but if you live any kind of a worldly existence and you've been around and you've been in urban areas and you've been in high crime areas and you've been places where there are real innocent victims of the preponderance of guns in our society, then you know that we need to quit that crap. It's the people who are fighting to keep away any kind of gun legislation are just fools. You're out of touch with the modern world, and you're probably a survivalist freak who we shouldn't be trusting with those kind of decisions anyway. So the government needs to do what they need to do to take care of gun control, and we all need to be behind it. So if you're a gun nut, just start shutting up, because we don't want to hear it anymore. I'm sick of seeing people get killed because they went to a country music concert or because they went to church on a Sunday. All right, and our hearts go out to the Baptists in Texas this morning. Sutherland Springs, I think, is the name of the town. We were just talking about what to rant about. What are we going to record today? And I look, and there's another mass shooting. I opened up Twitter, and 20 minutes ago, there's another mass shooting. They killed the guy. They don't know really what his reasoning was. He wasn't a black-bearded Uzbekistani like the dude who drove up on the sidewalk in New York. But it does make us wonder where do they draw that line? Where do they call it terrorism, where do they not, in terms of investigating and prosecuting these crimes? Because it all seems like terrorism to me, whether it's motivated by Muslim fundamentalists like the guy in Uzbeki gear turned out to be, and probably was, or most certainly was. Hard to say that those people who fit that general profile aren't going to get profiled for being. For looking that way. Maybe it's not right. Maybe it's not an ideal thing, but I'm not sure how you're going to avoid that. I think, again, people on that side of things need to stand up. I think Muslims who aren't terrorists need to stand up against the terrorism that is infiltrating their religion. I know, just like the Baptists in Texas who just want to peaceably gather and have their worship, that there are plenty of good Muslims out there who just want to live their lives and not be profiled as terrorists, and also not want to have their good name besmirched by terrorists. And I think it's incumbent upon them, just like it is on the good Christians, to beat down the fundamentalists and the people who would lie to our kids about the nature of the world and science. I think it's incumbent on them to stand up to the fringes of their religion, or just admit that they need to give it up altogether, because all it is a tradition anyway, and it makes you feel good, and you have the right to do it. But sooner or later, it's starting to get in the way. All right, we're trying to move things forward here. I think that's all I have to say about that. I wanted to extend our sympathy. We're atheists. We're not assholes. All right, this is a caring, loving community, despite some of the mistakes recently in the community that sort of shed our folk in a less than favorable light. We don't wish harm on any churches or any churchgoers. It's a horrible, horrible tragedy that this thing happened, and who knows why. I doubt it was religiously motivated. It was probably a guy who knew he could find people in an enclosed space and have easy target practice and went out with a bang, like I think a lot of these psychos are. But again, I hope we get to the bottom of it. I hope the government does something about guns in this country, and I hope that everybody realizes that atheists, by and large, are progressives. We're not all liberals. We're not all ultra libertines and libertarians. There's a lot of conservative-ish people, but I think as a movement, we're all pretty much on the side of a little bit of gun control is okay. All right, you can correct me if I'm wrong on that, but if you're a real gun nut, you need to go away.